industry or information technology industry. And we're asking what is information? Information is data and knowledge. It's knowledge that can be true and relatively true. We don't know. We hope it is true. Okay. So, and we want to process and save this information. So what do we need to process and save this information? بدك تعلي صوتك كتير لكلهم يسمعوك. technology is the right answer. دايما الاي تي ما عندهم very smart names about things. Okay. So information technology is technology to store information. كثير منيح مثل نكتة اللود بالانسر. Right. So what does the load balancer do? It balances the load. Good. Okay. So data and knowledge, we need technology to store it. So that's why we are in the information technology field, because we use technology to manage and process information. Okay. Glad that everybody knew this already. Okay. So what do we need to process and store information and data? What do we need? يلا فيك تجاوب. مرة من هون مرة من sorry. ولك شيل ايه computational power. So how do we use computational power? شو يعني what's the basic unit of computational power? Computers. والله انت شايلين اليوم. Okay, so we need computers. Do you know why they are called computers? Because they compute. Okay. I think 90% of people here know this, but I'm going to say it again. Computer was a job. So you hire a person, and he is or she is a computer, and they compute things on papers, pen and paper. And إذا بتحضروا نتفليكس في movie اسمه Hidden Figures, they have three ladies who were computing the distance, مدري شو coordinates to fly to the moon. Okay, using the hand. وكانوا جابوا وقتها IBM server to compute things, and I think it will use 2 decimals only or هيك الموفي عملوها. So the girl saved the day وعملت computation بالقلم الرصاص. Oh my God. Okay, so there was a computer and they changed it, they digitized, and we now have a server. Okay. تذكروا انه presentation is called Journey to the Cloud. So eventually we want to reach from computer to the cloud, and what happened in between? والله على الحلك تحكي لي. اوكي لا عم بمزح. اوكي. Okay. So what do we need in order to host computers? Servers? Okay, computers يعني servers. Okay, so where do we put those servers? Space? عم تعملوا كثير هسه كثير generic answers. You need a actual hosting space. قبل ما نوصل للداتا سنتر بعد ما كان في داتا سنتر. So we use كمان very smart names, computer rooms. Okay. So what do we need to in order to enable a computer room? فعنا عم نحكي نحن هون جماعة الاي تي and they need a computer room. So بالاي تي department what do we need to in order to maintain a computer room? شو؟ AC? Perfect. So بدك معلم الاي سيز HVAC باور بدك كهربجي شو بدك كمان؟ نتورك هي الاكشوال اي تي ايه ما عم بسمع حتى هيك. اوكي. Anything else comes to mind? You have a هول بارت انه اوكي the hardware. هلا نسينا نقول انه صح. Thank you for that. Technology is two things. اول شغله هي لا هاردوير ما قلت سوفت وير ثاني وحده. Okay, so it's hardware and software. Okay, so we use hardware and software as part of the technology to store and process information. Okay, so بدنا الهاردوير software. What else do we need to maintain the computer room? So power AC شو يا يوسف؟ مان باور اوكي كهربجي وشو معلم الهيد. believe it or not معلم النش هذا اللي بيكون فيه نش بالاساطيل وفاير فايتنج هيدا ايكويبمنت وهو تبع الراتس والرودنتس لانه بيحبوا الراتس they love they love the electric wires. You need raised floor. So عندكم هيدا اللي بيجي بيعمل ال raised floor لتمرقوا الكيبلز تحتهم. So there are lots of things and there are lots of people involved in the IT department اللي هن ما لهم خصة بال IT whatsoever. This is how it used to be. And you used to build a computer room that costs between minimum $60,000 to $1 million, depending on the space required. Okay. So بيجوا بيقولوا لنا how many square meters do you want? And they sell it by square meter إلا enabled room. هلا حيجي مع هيدا IT manager how many squares? 50. هيك lucky guess. Okay, so you build a huge computer room that you don't need and you are عم تحط لها ACs whatever. How did we move from here? What was the next step? يعني there was a lot of cost here and we had servers محطوطين برacks or cabinets inside the computer rooms. كمان we had another problem here. I remember from the previous presentation. What was the main problem with the servers? The computers ايه شو قصدك يعني؟ اوكي يس in terms of size قصدك بس انه let's say انه كان rack mounted ما رح نرجع لل 1800. So and what was the problem with those servers stored here? So they were underutilized. But قد ايه كان percentage utilization of servers? Do you remember the number? 10%. Bravo. So you actually remember something. Okay, so the servers on average بكل الانتربرايزز were at 10%, which was stupid. بس كمان انه الاي تي مانجر بيجوا يقولوا له بدي اشتري سيرفر عم بيعطوه بادجت ل3 سنين لقدام. شو بدك سيرفر؟ شو الجواب بيكون؟ احسن واحد. اوكي احسن واحد. قد ايه بدك رام؟ شو بعرفني شيء 2 3 تيرا بايتس based on safety measures. اوكي لانه once buy them I don't want to go into هيدا. هلا في vertical scaling بعدين بيزيدوا رامز but sometimes كمان the board doesn't support and you have to buy additional servers and so on. Okay, so we had lots of problems with IT. We had people who are hired ما لهم خصة بالاي تي. We had lots of unused space حقها مصاري يعني هاي الكمبيوتر روم. You can use it for something else. Imagine مثلا هون بدنا نشيل هول الاربع روز ونعملهم كمبيوتر روم. Okay, so it's really wasted premium space بقلب BDD. And we had underutilized servers. What happened next? كان هون في IT budget for all this يعني اللي هي 3 years budget إذا بدكم one bulk. What happened next? What was the next move to fix things? The internet happened. لا, the internet happened home somewhere. Okay. The internet happened and we had connectivity. But it was enabled by fast internet. يعني to move here was enabled by very good internet, or otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So what was it? Centralized servers where? The data centers. We moved to data centers. What did data centers offer? كتب كلمات كبيرة انت يلا بيمشي الحال. بالاول ظبطوه بعدين صرنا isolation. They offered space اللي هو كان they are solving this problem. You have space instead of you managing it, sorry. You don't need your own computer room. You can rent by cabinet. Okay. تعال data center تبعنا bring your own servers. We'll sell it by cabinet. So what was the cost of IT budget here? How do you estimate your IT budget now? Do you build a computer room وتحط space وتدفعوا الكهرباء أو it's now easier? What is the cost now? يعني هون قلنا budget 3 years على نعمر computer room. Now how do you budget your IT? علي صوتك؟ لا جاوبي يلا. Yes. So you decide on the number of cabinets. Cabinets, racks. I need 10 racks. حق الراك $2000 بالشهر. كده منيح. My budget is $20,000 in addition to the servers I bought as assets وعندي المينتنس تبعهم. It's very easy to calculate the budget now. You had a question? Okay, كثير منيح. What happened يعني what was the problem with data center؟ يعني على طول اجى بيعمل solution but there's a problem. قلتها من شوي على فكرة. It provided physical security. Connection بتكون أخف. Latency. Okay, yes, you needed a nearby data center that is reliable and connected to very good telecom providers. Multiple telecom providers. So في عندك premium data centers وعندك data centers زبالة يعني. اوكي مش حيلا حدا عنده سبيس سميها data center. Okay, so we now had يعني كان عندنا enterprise applications stored inside the computer room and we're accessing them over the local area network. We didn't use internet. يعني انا منزل HR system عندي بقلب الداتا center and I'm accessing it over the LAN. This I don't think anybody does this anymore. ما بعرف ميراكس اذا في concept of accessing over the LAN بعد. انه okay global LAN. Okay. Now you have your enterprise applications hosted in the data center. So you need internet budget also to connect to the data center. Okay, and in some locations internet was very very expensive and not reliable either. Okay, بس we carried over معنا هون another problem كان موجود محل الداتا سنتر. What was it؟ بدك تعلي صوتك. بعد بدك تعلي صوتك. سمعت underutilization. We carried this problem with us. Thank you very much. بعدنا عم نحط السيرفر and they are underutilized. Who solved this problem؟ VMware. شو عملوا VMware؟ علي صوتك. بس لا introduce visualization. شو بتعمل visualization؟ So we have one server with a hypervisor and we create virtual machines on top of it. We change the utilization of the servers from 10% to 90%. Okay, this is the average utilization now. So VMware solved this problem who data center couldn't solve. بما انه حدا came with a solution, so what happened to the data center providers here? What happened? Can you explain the problem? A direct problem. كانت عندك 10% utilization يعني بدك لتوصل لل 100% 10 servers or so. يعني انت يبروجكت انه بدي 10 servers تستعمل منهم 10% كل واحد. So عندك 10 servers. اجى هيك قال لك انا بعمل لك 90% utilization. So you actually condensed into 2. So what happened to the data center here? Relax. Now you bring 2 servers to the data centers instead of bringing 10, right? So the data center underutilized. Amazing. كان عندهم space وحاطين cabinets. Now their data, their customers بتقول لك كأنه عملوا zip. Okay, and everything shrank inside the data center. Now they have a huge space that nobody wants. They needed more clients. They thought it's working, it's not working. So they started creating collaborations and so on and so forth. Okay, but خلينا نحكي هلا بما انه نقلنا من data center لسكويز data center if you want مع VMware. What's the budget for IT here now? You think? You stop spending somewhere, you spend on something else. Where are we spending our budget now? Hardware, software, and VMware licenses, right? So probably we shrank our هيدا من 10 racks ل 1 rack for one cabinet, and we're paying now for VMware. But we're still paying as an IT budget. It varies. And we're still paying licenses and space, okay? But very minimal space. هون بعدنا شو عم نعمل in terms of we're buying assets, we're buying licenses, we're buying servers. So still at this stage بيسموهم capital expenditures. مظبوط. So we're buying assets for IT. How we're selling, and from the data center perspective, we're selling space للعالم. So we invest in assets and we sell them in units of cabinets, and we have an average revenue per cabinet. Okay? What was the problem هون اللي كمان was not solved by VMware and the data centers? بدك تعلي صوتك man.
Listen, they still have to guess how much resources they get أو مثلا.
They still had to guess. Sometimes بيسيبوها بس كان في another problem. حدا بيتذكر هون ايش البروبلم؟ It's tricky. بس بالكمبيوتر روم يعني كانت أسوأ.
Uptime, يعني problems with uptime. How are they usage?
It's good. It's good. هيدي تبع الأعياد. طب can you explain this? على peak. So always you forecast as an IT manager for the peak utilization. Okay? ما في IT manager انه اوكي ليك في نهار بالداتا بالسنة عندي utilization 90%. I'm gonna ignore it. No way. He will be fired. حتى لو نهار حتى لو ساعة. I will size my hardware to the highest utilization that might occur. يعني imagine مثلا example of Amazon. هلا مش هالقد يعني بس انه اوكي في عندهم utilization of their servers across the year, and suddenly what happens here? اجى Christmas. Okay, so everybody is visiting the website. It's they feel estimates in like 10,000% increase in utilization. So أكيد they're not going to lose. يمكن they make in this December 24 or in December in general at how much they make during the year. So they're not going to just ignore this peak. I know it doesn't suit them. بنرجع للconcept of underutilization. اوكي بس I need to size my hardware على هذا الليفل. هلا في other examples اللي هن بيكونوا كمان different. يعني مثلا في الديلي بيكس تبع الانتربرايز. بيجوا الصبح العالم بيفوتوا على الاتش ار سيستم بيعملوا لوجينج بعدين everybody leaves and then nobody is using it. اوكي ما هذه كانت مشكله كمان انه every server is allocated one function حتى لو virtualization. No, I'm going to use this server. هالقد في البيك تبعي. I need to solve for peaks. So what was the solution? Who came with the solution here? الكلاود. اوكي شو عمل الكلاود؟ سوري؟ on demand. اوكي اوكي so هون صار في major shift that everybody hated. Okay, everybody. The accountants they hated it. The IT managers they hated it. The CFOs hated it. The IT managers they hated it. Everybody hated the cloud when it started. Everybody was against it. ليش؟ لأنه أول شيء كان ال IT manager قد إيه بدك budget؟ شي $2,000,000. اوكي بيصرف مليون وربع بيرجع بال 750,000 هات لنشتري لنا شي لابتوب. اوكي and now the budget changed. It's no longer capital expenditure. شو بدك تستعمل هذا الشهر بتدفع تطلع الفاتورة آخر الشهر. So we moved from capital expenditure to running costs, so OPEX model, operational expenditure. Okay, so OPEX كنا هون CAPEX. It was a major shift that very few people recovered. Very few companies recovered from it. لأنه طول كل الاي تي managers they thought about yearly budget. بيجي يقول له بدي استعمل اذا خيي، بيقول له طب شو بدي اقول له للسي اف او تبعي قديش بدي اصرف؟ بيقول له امازون I don't know. Try to use some estimates مدري شو، بس I don't know. I really don't know. It depends on your usage. It wasn't that simple, بس it was safe للاي تي مانجر. والاكونتنت كان اوكي قد ايه عندكم مصروف كابينتس، قد ايه انا عم بيع مثلا. نحن انا كنت بكومباني ذات سولد مانج داتا مانج راكس، والاكونت كثير مبسوطه. average revenue per rack. This was the number that everybody loved in the company and made everybody feel safe as long as it was increasing. Yay, average revenue per rack is increasing. كثير منيح. And we're selling قد ايه صاروا؟ 100 راك، 1000 راك، 1500 راك. Oh my God, everything. Those two KPIs, number of racks and average revenue per rack, was everything the accountant wanted to hear. هلا صرنا عم نبيع، عم نحط كابينت، عم نحط فيها servers, and we created some sort of cloud and we were selling to multiple customers. بس I'm selling virtual machines. هون نبيل I want to forecast the revenue تبع السيرفيس. إلا إيه I'm going to sell 2000 virtual machines. قد إيه بيعملوا بالراكس هول؟ It took me a year. It took us a year to be able to change all the charts and the forecasts, how to forget the two KPIs before, and we're not selling racks anymore, we're selling virtual machines. Okay? طب اوكي اعطيني virtual ماما they vary في virtual machines صغيرة. So really it was a headache for estimations, for spending, for design. حتى بعد ما عملوا الاي تي مانجرز عملوا هذا الشيء اللي اسمه ليفت اند شيفت. بتسمعوها كثير ميراكس اي ثينك. ميراكس are very proud of this terminology مع انها very very primitive. ليفت اند شيفت يعني كيف هن هول السيرفرز كانوا بالداتا سنتر، كيف في عندنا ناس برومز بميراكس هلا. as is lift and shift to the cloud. So the design remained the same and utilization remained the same. بس هيدي الابروتش اللي عملوها امازون was very clever. خي مثل ما هن بطلع لك اياهم، اوكي ما بدنا هلا فوركاست وما بدنا يوتيلايزيشن، امتى you need to utilize them، لانه صار في كثير ريكوايرمنتس على الاي تي مانجرز انه هايدو اي سايز وامتى وشو البيك تايم وامتى بطفيه. عم بقول خي حل عني ما بديش كلاود. قال خي خلص ليفت اند شيفت. اوكي and then we start discovering انه اوكي and turn off the machines. اوكي والبرايسنج صار بير اور. يعني صار عندنا هلا فوركاست بير استيميت بير يوتيلايزيشن. exactly per utilization. how much utilize, how much you pay. perfect. كثير منيح. بس كيف امازون بيعملوا مصاري من وراء الشغل؟ اذا the machines are turned off how do they make money؟ يعني انا بدل كنت لما كنت بالداتا سنتر عم بيع كلاود بقول له قد ايه بدك فيرتشوال ماشين، هلا تحجز ما هالقد حقها بالشهر، طفيتها دورتها ما بقى انا حجز لك اياها. امازون لا بالعكس عم بيقول له بير مانث، سوري بير اور، per on hour. How do they make money? Everything is price per utilization. بس إذا كل الكاستمرز تبعون طفوا الماشينز so their revenue is zero, how does this work for them? لا. What happens? Explain it to me. حدا عم يستعملكم ليش؟ Yes, sorry, can you answer? حدا عنده هلا نهار، حدا عنده ليل. Do you have an answer? Same answer? Very good. So حدا عنده نهار، حدا عنده ليل. And to have a reach for all those customers, you need to have data centers all around it. Perfect. Okay.
هو البروفيت مارجن 30%. ايه
Profit margin تبع مين؟
تبع اي دبليو اس.
It's very good. على infrastructure only, it's very good. Okay, they're not selling anything but infrastructure. هلا بعدين صاروا عم يبيعوا services. It was very 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 good. Okay, so we had an accumulation of different utilization metrics. Okay. هي كل الخبريه انه هون الاي تي مانجر كان يزهق كل السنه تبع امازون انه عندنا هالماشينز شو. So he invented انه guys can I rent those machines لحدا بتسمحوا لي معلش انه I have them. حكي مع سي او، حكي مع سي او قالوا له اوكي rent them, I don't care. So he created the cloud concept and he started selling his machines to other customers who needed them when he didn't want. Okay, and they started creating the orchestration, and it worked for everybody. Okay, hear me. What problem was created by the cloud? على طول في problems are created. Okay, they solve a problem, they create other problems.
Too expensive.
تراست انه تحط كل شيء عند
لحظة.
ولاك اوف كنترول.
اوكي لحظة شوي. خليني اكتبهم. lack of control. هيدا مين قال جاد؟
يس.
اوكي. trust. حدا قال trust, right?
I said too expensive.
Too expensive. Okay, we discussed this. What else? Lack of visibility. Disaster recovery. What do you mean by disaster recovery?
Since they're putting كل التراست تبعهم ب one place لازم يكون كمان في alternative plan إنه إذا صار disaster كمان يكون في availability في المطرحتين.
مثل ما صار ب US East 1 الجمعة الماضية لما طبشت US East 1. ايه طلع كل الانترنت actually hosted it's the biggest market يعني come on ايه. So are you US East 1 because you are ghosting me? Okay, anything else? انت عم تقول شيء سوري. data regulation. انا عن جد البروبلم صاروا كثير كتار. اوكي. نص ساعة. Great. طيب. Yes. You lost access to your data. You don't own it anymore. اوكي بيقولوا لك انه you own it وفي security و nobody has access. بس رح اعطي example كثير easy. انا how I gained الجزيرة as a customer كانوا محطوطين باليو اس وطلعت حرب العراق وطلعوا بالجزيرة يحطوا news about Iraq how they are fighting supporting مدري شو. فاتوا ال NS شو اسمه NS something هو national security. فكوا السيرفرز كبوا لهم اياهم على الطريق. اوكي باي يو نو لونجر هوستد هير. وين عم ندفع في عندنا كونتراكتس في عندنا رايتس في عندنا اوكي يعني اوكي سو كبوا لهم اياهم. This is a major customer in a major country مش هون يعني in a third world country where they respect rights ومدري شو. كبوا لهم السيرفر على الطريق قالوا لهم يلا الله معكم. فاجوا لعنا على فرنسا and they hosted their server in France. كان في فرنسا رايت فور شو البريس رايتس ومدري شو وحطينا على الكابينتس انه nobody can touch those. واجوا كمان الناشونال سيكيورتي الفرنسويه انه they supported us etc. and this is how we gained a very large customer because of these things. يعني you cannot actually trust the provider whomever they were. اوكي. من وراها صار في regulations كمان. قطر طلعوا regulations اذا بدك تحطوا شيء on the cloud it has to be international cloud. السعوديه عملت نفس الشيء. الامارات عملت نفس الشيء. Basically they wanted a share of the cloud revenue لانه كانوا التلكوز تبعولهم كمان they are losing money. So anyway okay let's play on the regulations نطلع شويه مصاري و anyway it makes sense as well انه let's regulate this. okay so شو بعد بدنا نحكي هون؟ trust yes في trust في قصص يعني the cloud provider has to provide lots of certifications to prove they support trust data governance data regulations etc. وهلا صاروا eventually they are aware of this and they provide lots of regulations around it. في بس بدي احكي عن too expensive عن الدي ار. DR is right مثل ما قلنا US East 1 went down so everybody went down. هلا نفس الشيء انا عندي مثلا او هي خلينا نحكيها للاساس. You don't know okay you think انه it's Amazon and يا لطيف شو بعرف 99.999 بس when it goes down it goes down. It's very hard and it goes very hard يعني بيروح يومين ثلاثة. So هلا yes they are using concepts called multi-cloud deployments where you deploy to Amazon and Azure مثلا or Amazon and Google. So in case one goes down بس بعده I think يعني إذا كنتوا مثلا ب US the problems on the fiber cables and reaching the data centers would impact everybody. So you might have blackouts even on multi-cloud environments. No, the service is availability inside the region.
It's across availability zones بس مش across
Across availability zone, not across regions. Yeah. هذا غير كونسبت بس حلو هذا الكونسبت.
طبعا فيها فانت عندك يعني سيرفرات دايرين عليها ضلوا دايرين بس بيسكلي دي بس تبع طبعا
How at US East one? Okay, so you didn't lose data, but you lost access to the data, right? Okay, كثير منيح. So yes, to solve for the R في عندنا multi cloud deployments. Too expensive is a debate بعده من وقت ما بلشت اسمع بالكلاود لهلا. وين هو فراس؟ اختلفنا انا وفراس السنة الماضية على is it too expensive or more expensive to move to the cloud? انا قلت هلا الفايت تبعك على الفيزيبيليتي. You don't know what's happening, yes. هلا he actually by design you should not know لأن it's not your responsibility to solve it. قرب على الصالون. على طول عندك مشاكل. ايه
ما نعمل ترابل شوتنج نشوف ليه عم ينتهي هذا الايرور.
اوكي.
بس عم بعطينا ايرور انه invalid format.
So you're getting errors from the cloud and you cannot troubleshoot لأنه مش شغلتك تتربش. هو there is a problem with Azure that you wait for it to be solved.
لا هي المشكله نحن عندنا ابلكيشن جيت هاب وفكرنا الاوتوماتيك بروفيجنينج
اوكي got you. مثل ما صار مثلا بين كلاود مايكروسوفت وجوجل لما كنت عم تعمل you don't know what's happening, it's not working. ما بنعرف ليش. Yes. Okay. Yes, it makes life harder if you are trying to do something out of the box. عندك الماشين كلها سوا تحت ايدك. اوكي so في trade off. Yes, feasibility, thank you. Amazing. الكوست خلاص استغنيت عنه ما بقى فرقاني معك. الكوست ما بقى فرقاني معك. I strongly believe that moving to the cloud will cut your costs. But you have to be a smart IT manager, not a lift and shift manager. Lift and shift manager فضل حياتي يعني. Okay, it doesn't work like this. You have to utilize the features of the cloud in order to cut your costs. لأنه you don't use them as needed. Okay, the last move to the cloud. هون كان عندنا 100,000 واحد عم يشتغلوا حتى يطلعوا لنا سيرفر اونلاين ويمشوا الانتربرايز ابلكيشن، معلم كهرباء ومعلم نش ومعلم ورقه واي سي وهيتش باك ومدري شو. And now we move to the cloud في عندنا بس IT manager and there's also you lost. صار في thin line بالديفرنشيشن الا عند ميوراكس. IT manager يعني في عندنا نتورك ويونكس سيستمز وشو ويندوز دومين. على الكلاود صار خلص one guy is a cloud engineer, right, who does everything. He can manage the security, the network, the servers, the systems. Cloud engineer, and they are just services and you're clicking on them to enable or to turn off or etc. It's much different than the previous world where we had a storage engineer, network engineer. Okay, makes sense. طيب وصلنا لlevel where we just manage our applications and secure our applications. So we need cloud engineers probably security engineers. هون السكيورتي ضلهم فاتحين لحالهم، احنا غير ما بتزبط لحال. And they tried to separate themselves and they were right. I know there were lots of hacking attempts على الكلاود. And when they moved to the cloud هيدي بعد ما حدا قالها they thought انه the cloud provides security. بس هو امازون ما قالها ولا محل انه we provide security. قالوا I'm providing machines on demand. انا اعطيتكم security شيء لا. It's a shared responsibility model. I provide security, physical security. I provide clean machines, not hacked. And it's your responsibility once you turn it on to patch it, to secure it, to install firewalls, to configure your firewall networks, and so on. Okay, so it's a shared responsibility model. So بضل عندنا هذا المانجر cloud engineer مع security engineer. The last move that promised to solve all the problems ده كتبتك المفروض انت تقولوا لي اياها. So SaaS, what's SaaS؟ يعني لك شو يعني software as a service؟
infrastructure or going down into the hardware stuff. Everything is packaged and ready. You don't even need a software, sorry, security engineer. Okay, so you're buying the software as itself, it's ready, you just use it.
It's fully managed, kind of, basically.
Okay. So from the point of view, sorry شو قلت؟
Fully managed.
fully managed. Okay. Okay. So what شو بدنا هون لنمشي الساس application? Do we need a cloud engineer? No. Do we need a security engineer? What? We need money. What's our IT budget now? How does it transform? شو صارت؟ SaaS is software as a service. يعني provide you مثل خلينا نسأل سؤال اعطوني example of SaaS. Enterprise SaaS. Microsoft 365. Factorial. Factorial is software provided to us as a service.
Gmail.
اللي هن you access over the internet. Yes, you don't know where they are. You just access. Okay, you don't manage them. So Factorial, learning management system هيدا Moodle, Microsoft 365 كلهم Teams وهيدا كلهم software as a service. So we don't need a cloud engineer to manage the application. ولا بدنا hardware engineer to manage the hardware مثل ما كنا قبل. ولا بدنا معلم كهرباء ولا بدنا شيء. شو بدنا؟ بدنا user administrator to actually understand the policies and the configuration. يعني بدنا functional engineer. اوكي صار بس عندنا functional engineer يعني مثل انا مثلا هلا I'm managing الفاكتوريال fine. I don't او مثلا هدى is managing Dynamics كمان. Dynamics is an example of software as a service. It could be installed on premise, but we're using it as software as a service. So how did the IT budget become now? اعطيني يونت يوزر عفوا كبير يعني per user license. Okay. So you have 100 users, you pay 100. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything. Just tell us how many users are using the system. Okay. What's the problem with SaaS? It solved all the problems. Security, availability, whatever, as long as they are hosted in a secure and available data center, right? يعني يمكن يكون عطيك SaaS مركب على سيرفر تحت الدرج عنده. So it has to, يعني sometimes the SaaS you have to go and tell them, hey, where is your cloud hosted? We need to know.
Customization.
You lose customization. Amazing. برافو يوسف. حبيت. You lost customization. زيرو. هلا في منهم بيعطوك شوية customization. تحط اللوجو تبعك. Right? You lose lots of customizations. What else? To the previous version, where you had a cloud server and you had your applications. You are managing your application. Okay, it's a locked. بس مثلا تنقول MX 3 software تبع ميراكس. It is installed per customer and they customize every version of the software as per the customer requirement. And you cannot change. You only change what the vendor allows you to do. And besides, it's really allowable and it's one platform for everybody. Okay. Security للداتا ايه كمان. You don't يعني لما كنت you manage the machine and the application, you actually could have data backup. مثلا هلا I'm struggling with Moodle to back up the courses. I don't know how to do this. I opened a ticket معه شو and okay I have it on the cloud my course, but if your cloud went down شو بعمل? How do I get my courses? And I don't know. There is no solution. لا ما سهل. محطوطة بأستراليا سنة. When the subscription is over, usually في هول بالcontracts انه you can actually download in a universal format. You can download your data. Yeah, we lose everything. So you cannot really rely on the SaaS provider هيك انه blindly انه يعطيكم العافيه and you're managing everything. Where is my data? How اذا صار لك انت شيء how do I recover? Okay. Yeah, but it's not your job to troubleshoot. It's your job to call them and shout. لانه لا not necessarily. It depends على ال SLAs that you يعني هون you have to shift your thinking towards contractual terms مع ال provider versus thinking I need to hire technical people to solve all those problems that occur. So I put strict KPIs and SLAs على ال provider. يعني هلا لما Murex they sell SaaS, how do they convince the customer? Availability of the platform. Okay, where is it hosted? Keep the data is secure. How you are doing it? We're saving you costs, etc. بس إنه كمان we're providing you service level agreements on all the services. Good. What's after SaaS? You don't know. What's after SaaS? زاد حرفوش كان جاوب هون. شو؟ AI هذه جاوبت على كده. It's actually AI. It's one AI for all the software as a service application. So you talk to your AI agent and it manages things for you on different software as a service application. Occurring in the coming 2 to 3 years. هلا سبورت هيدا ايه chat support bot. بس actually there are operating systems. هلا امبارح طلعوا نسيت شو اسمه human one something. It's an OS that doesn't have different applications. It has a prompt. You prompt the OS and it does things for you. Save the file here, get me this file, schedule a meeting. Plus, you just prompt it and it does things for you. There are no concept of applications inside the OS. So shift this to the cloud, shift it to the concept of SaaS. It becomes you talk to an AI agent that does everything for you. Okay? Any questions? We have to conclude صرنا ساعة. قال لك بدي احكي عن اكسل. ليش قلت بدي احكي عن اكسل؟ I forgot. I don't remember why. لا, Excel is not software as a service. He actually if we want to talk about Excel, yes, I remember. هون the software. يعني probably the earliest digitization approach to things when we really wanted computers is to digitize records. Okay, شو هي الداتا and knowledge that enterprises needed بالأول? Financial records, people's records, right? And so we needed Excel, right? So it was the first application to be digitized and not digitalized. There's a big difference between the two. And they promised it would be a solution for everything. Was it a solution for everything? Remains for now. بعدنا هلا عندنا dynamic SaaS وهنستعمل Excel. Okay? So they kept their promise. It's not software as a service, أكيد. It's an enterprise app, okay? It was the first one to be digitized. بما انه في ناس ضلوا يحكوا عن sorry about people. لا تكون تقولوا people is if we have information technology, so it's the technology to manage information, to store and process information, right? If we add people and processes, what it becomes? بتبطل IT بتصير sorry بدك تعلي صوتك لأن أجوبتك دائما مظبوطة. تصير information systems. And the difference between digitization, who would having digitized enterprise apps and data, and we copied the records to become digits. Okay, the digitalization started like 5-6 years ago. It's including processes and people and automation to bring a system. It's not only about an application, an enterprise application. And smart companies will use digitalization, not just dumping data. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. So you have to include people and processes in addition to the technology to have information systems. Once you have systems, you can generate insights. Okay. طيب, I'll wrap up. Thank you very much. Thank you virtual and online. Thank you لموجودين معنا. I hope it was useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabil.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Bye.